Hi and welcome to a very short wrap-up video in my October TBR. So for the month of September, I was able to read about 5 books despite having I think 8 books in my TBR list for that month. Classes just started like this last month, so I was really busy trying to keep up with classes and reading books, and also being able to put out videos and especially writing in my vlog. So it was really overwhelming, but I was so happy to be able to read the books that I was able to finish. So let's just get into it. So one of the books I read is Early Departures by Justin A. Reynolds. This came out in the month of September and I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. If you want to hear my full thoughts about this book, I wrote a blog post about it since I was able to snatch an early copy before the initial release date. I will say this really made me more interested in reading more YA contemporaries. I kind of strayed away from YA contemporaries for a while just because the books that I were reading weren't that interesting to me, but this brought a new light to YA contemporaries for me. So yeah. The next book I read was A Song of Wraith and Runes for Chanel's Crusty Club, and I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. But I will say I got confused a bit just because I was listening to it on audiobook and I would tune out a lot, especially since I listened to it while I was working. So I'm probably gonna want to reread this because the first chapters are usually where world building occurs, and that's when I listen to it on audiobook. But from what I've read, it's a 4 out of 5. I will say I liked Karina more better than Malik. I just think that her point of views were a lot more interesting. So yeah. The next book I read is 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. It's kind of sad because I read both of these for book clubs and I didn't make it to the live show. This one is a 5 out of 5 stars. I didn't expect myself to enjoy this as much as I did because I don't usually pick up books in this genre, but oh my god, this was so good. This is one of my favorite books that I've read this year, and it's like in the top of my all-time favorite books. I tabbed a lot because I really wanted to immerse myself in the story, and I feel like that really helped. So the way I tabbed this, the pink parts are when she talks about her husband's or her greatest love, which I will not say because it's a spoiler. And I think green is when she is the most herself. So being in the industry of Hollywood and acting, you kind of have to put on a face and fit into what the people want. So I just tabbed the moments where I feel the most that she is herself, and which isn't a lot, sadly. This book made me cry a bit. It was very emotional, especially towards the end. So I just love this. Favorite book, one of my favorite books of all time now. The next book is The Dragon Republic by R.F. Kuang. I uploaded a reading vlog of this. I finished it in a day, the same way I finished the first book in a day. I didn't tab that much because I was mostly focused on reading it. So if you want to hear my full thoughts about this, then you can watch my reading vlog. It is definitely a 5 out of 5 stars. Lastly, the book I read is Get a Life, Chloe Brown, and I rated this one a 3 out of 5, but it's more of a 3.5 out of 5. But Goodreads doesn't have that half-star rating. It's the first romance book I read in a while. The last one I read would be To All the Boys I've Loved Before, and that was like 5 years ago. I expected there to be smut in this book, but it still took me aback, and I wasn't really expecting how it would be written. So I enjoyed reading this, but just because I wasn't expecting it. That's why I feel like I didn't give it a 4 or a 5 out of 5. But now that I know that there will be that much smut, then I feel like I would enjoy Take a Hint, Danny Brown. And I'd probably reread this because I do enjoy Chloe's character. I feel like I related to her a lot as a person who likes to organize things all the time. So yeah, my very short wrap up. I'm happy because these are all books I enjoyed. So now we are gonna talk about the books that I will be reading for the month of October. I will say this TBR list is really ambiguous. I have a lot on this list and I've started one book so far and it is now 6 days into October and I am barely halfway through this book. And that first book is The Bone Witch by Rin Chupeco. I am reading this for Monica Kim and Brianna from Milky Poo's Magical Girls Society. It's sort of a club that where they watch anime and, you know, read books with magical girls. So yeah, so The Bone Witch, I don't know much about it yet since I did just read about 10 chapters, but so far from what I've read, I know it's about Tia and she finds out that she is a bone witch and she is a witch who can bring people back from the dead and other stuff. So because the Bone Witch deals a lot with like dark and negative powers, another bone witch, Michaela, senses that Tia accidentally brought back her brother from the dead, so she goes to retrieve Tia and brings her in to train her to control her powers. Yeah, that's all I know about it so far. Like I said, it's really slow, but I'm enjoying the slow pacing. There's still tidbits that make the story progress, but yeah, this is the first read. The next book I will be reading for October, which isn't really a spooky read, is Anember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir, which I am reading for the Subtle Asian Book Club. This will be my first time reading this, and this has been on my TBR for like so long. I think 6 years now, and I just was able to get a copy recently. I know there was like a lot of hype around this book back then on book Twitter and booktube community, so now that the hype kind of died down, I feel more inclined to read this. Oh my god, I'm bringing out all these books again and it's so stressful to put them all back. The next book is Mexican Gothic by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. I am reading this for Fortnight Frights. I've talked about this before on my channel and I'm excited to finally start it this month. I did tell myself I would start it this month, so yeah. The next book I will be reading is The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones, which I am also reading for Fortnight Frights. The Only Good Indians are about 4 Indian men. So they are suddenly thrust into a dangerous situation after an event from their past is now disturbingly haunting them. So the synopsis for this is really vague, which I like because then I don't know much going into it, and I feel like I enjoy books better when not much detail is given. So yep. The next book I will be reading, which is also for Fortnight Frights, is When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. This is a psychological thriller, but the synopsis on the back doesn't sound like it's a thriller, so this makes me even more intrigued to read this book because everyone is saying like this book freaks them out, but really the back of it just talks about the main character is Sydney Green, and like she's struggling with how her neighborhood is being gentrified. So I'm interested to see how this will connect to it being a psychological thriller. The next book I will be reading, which is also for Fortnight Frights, is Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. This has been one of my most anticipated releases of this year, It is about Yadriel, and he is trying to prove to his family that he is a brujo, or a witch doctor, and he tries to bring back his cousin Miguel from the dead, but he accidentally brings back Julian, the high school bad boy, and together they try to figure out how he died. And of course, you know, some romance happens, but Julian is dead, and I just know I'm gonna cry reading this book. The next book is One by One by Ruth Ware. This is a thriller, and this is my book of the month, and this is apparently about co-workers who go on this business trip, I'm assuming, and they get stuck in a cabin, and I'm guessing secrets are unraveled and things happen. I'm not completely sure if I'm gonna enjoy this, just because the synopsis doesn't sound appealing to me. I feel like I've heard a lot of similar stories to this, but I don't know, I've heard a lot of hype around this, so it has to be good. And I've never read a Ruth Ware book before, but I heard Turn of the Key is really good, and I'm gonna go check that one out. But for now, I will be reading this. Next book I will try to get through is I'm Thinking of Ending Things, and I watched the Netflix trailer for this, and I was like, okay, this means I really need to read the book. I don't know anything about this book except for the Netflix trailer, so I'm really excited to read this because that trailer was so good. I did not get anything. I did not understand what was happening. It's really short, so I'm definitely gonna be able to get through this. It is probably gonna be the last book I read. That is it for my October TBR. I have a lot more on that list, but this is the books that I will for sure try to finish. And yeah, so yeah, this is my October TBR. I'm very scared. It is a lot, but I'd probably get through these just because I do enjoy reading thrillers. The only reason it's taking me so long with Bone Witch is because, again, it has a very slow start, but I'm pretty sure I'll be able to get through the rest of these books really fast. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and have an idea of what you will be reading for the month of October. And yes, I will be uploading a Fortnite Frights vlog. So be sure to leave a like and maybe subscribe. It will help me a lot. And yeah, thank you for watching. Bye!